Ambrus Maropis rarely leaves his opulent apartment in Cyprus to meet the public, yet his reputation as a trendsetter and Masquerade-protector spreads wildly throughout Kindred society. The Toreador, who know that Ambrus is a Nosferatu, loathe the vampire's popularity. His disciples, akin to superfans, act as go-betweens to princes and barons, while he remains forever hidden. Ambrus has a reputation as a vampire on the cutting edge of technology and culture. Embraced in his late teens, Ambrus is, at heart, an introverted fan of anime, gaming, and online role-playing, with an elaborate online persona. Ambrus uses his persona to sell software and information he hacks. Advice on the best security methods stolen from government and corporations for Kindred to utilize. Inform Elysia about emerging musicians, entertainers, and trends. And makes himself an invaluable resource to Camarilla and Anarchs, who want to appear more human than human. Greetings, Kindred. I am Voivode Maquette, and welcome back to our World of Darkness. And tonight we're going to be going over Ambrus Maropis' Loresheet. This is a very interesting character. He can be found in the Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition core book. And it's a Nosferatu who has found a way to basically ingrain himself in the lives of both the Camarilla and the Anarchs, becoming indispensable for the things that he offers. This one young Kindred, this neonate, who is showing that even in these times, staying on top of technological advancements is well more worth than hiding. So let's go ahead and see exactly what advantages you have if you take this lore sheet. Investing 1 dot into this lore sheet gets you True Believer. If Ambrus has taught you anything, it's that the Camarilla is right and the Masquerade is essential. You follow his edicts on security and subterfuge religiously, granting you knowledge of the best shared Kindred hiding places in a city, providing a 1 die bonus to tests to find such a place. You may not have access to this bonus if the domain is typically opposed to your political or philosophical views. I like the fact that with this one, not only do you know the best places to hide in a city, but you might not be allowed to get in due to the fact that you might not belong to the right groups. It's one of those things where knowing is a thing, but gaining access is a completely different thing. So you could very well make things worse for people who know how to hide from anything. SI, the Anarchs who are trying to hide from the Camarilla, who knows? There's just so many different ways to utilize knowledge in general. Investing 2 dots into this lore sheet gets you Clandestine information. You can use a digital dead drop to request a hack from Ambros's fan community. Once per story, you can get 1 piece of information stored online about most mortals within 2 to 20 hours. Clandestine information, this is one of those things when you're going more espionage than full frontal attack. Getting information, and it says specifically mortals on this one. But I would actually go ahead and say that if you have somebody who's immortal and has a mortal persona, you might be able to dig into more personal information on that one on a mundane level. But that would be up to storyteller discretion. Investing 3 dots into this lore sheet gets you Taught by the Best. As one of Ambrus's disciples, you are provided with a ready supply of intel on topics from the Second Inquisition's operations to the fashions in Harajuku tomorrow night. Ambrus can also time lock in information in the dark web, or set you up with your own Ukrainian hacker at friend prices. Consider Ambrus a 3-dot mala. This pretty much says that you have the ability to get in contact with Ambrus himself, possibly through a series of dead drops or just being able to drop an email or something like that, and he can set you up with someone who can help you. Basically as a 3-dot mala, which is not too shabby. This is one of those things where you just have to think about what you need, and your storyteller has to think of the proper response on how to get that information to you. Investing 4 dots into this lore sheet gets you backdoor Panopticon. Ambrus hooked you up with a backdoor into Prism Nucleon surveillance software, tracking and sorting online communications, including cell phone calls for keywords and names. Or perhaps you stole it from him, or found it on a machine in a safe house, an Ambrusite abandoned in a hurry. Either way, you can only log in once per story, for security's sake. But it gets you 2 automatic successes on any investigation test involving anyone's cell activity or online presence. As a storyteller of a player who takes advantage of this kind of thing constantly, I gotta say that this is probably, out of an annoyance factor, one of my least favorite lore sheet things. Because, like, at this point, you now have to keep track of every single thing. As a storyteller, you have to keep track of every single thing that your NPCs or even just someone randomly in the city might say on a cell phone. Any kind of code words, names being dropped, anything like that. And it can get just emotionally exhausting. Again, one of the reasons why I think people should be limited to like the one lore sheet and everything like that is just because how much these things can actually bring into your game detail-wise. I don't know. Just make sure you work with your storyteller / player on exactly how this is going to work for you. Set specific barriers and I don't know. Just try not to get on each other's nerves too much with this one. Investing 5 dots into this lore sheet gets you on another grid entirely. Ambrus went all out with your false identity. You have 2 2-dot mask cover identities and have been zeroed. You get 3 extra dice to resist attempts to research you online or uncover your activities in the mortal world. This is a full-on cover. You have false identities on top of false identities, and the government systems do not know that you exist. You cannot tell me that this one would not be worth it. It's definitely something that you are going to have to put some background thought into. Work with your storyteller and try to figure out who your false identities are, how they work, what you can get away with. But it really is just like how detailed you want to go into this. So Ambrus Maropis is a character that, as I've said in many times, I really wish we had possible novel uses for these characters, or if they'd pop up more in like some of the interactive novel video games or something like that for World of Darkness. Vampire the Masquerade has such a lush amount of NPCs to choose from, and I do find that they just tend to use the same ones over and over again. Like, if you're going to run into a popular NPC, it's most likely going to be Victoria Ash. But, like, Ambrus Maropis is just a very interesting Nosferatu to run into. And I wouldn't mind seeing that in possible later literature and games. So I am Voivode Maquette, and thank you for joining me in this lore sheet review for Ambrus Maropis, found in the Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition core book. And I cannot wait to see you in the next one. Good evening.